Hi everyone, this is Jen at Wakeland with Remarkably Created, and I'm back with another series of sneak peeks. The reason why I say another series is because over the weekend, and actually starting on Friday, we did 8 videos featuring sneak peeks of the 2023 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog product suites. Products that all work together as a comprehensive kind of beautiful grouping of products that look good together, work good together, can be ordered with the I Want It All button for each suite or also individually. So this next series, starting today, Monday, all the way through Sunday, August 13th, every night at 9 p.m., we'll be looking at some other products from that 84-page catalog. Products that are either part of bundles, products that just simply, such as beautiful new gold note cards and envelopes that are in there, or dies that are just in there that work with everything, but aren't part of those comprehensive coordinated product suites. So tonight we're going to take a look at some of the Halloween products. Starting with those because those are probably the most timely. So we'll look at some Halloween products, then we'll look at some fall, and then we'll work our way on through some of the different holidays, and then some of the products aren't even really holiday based. As one of our product suites, we looked at this set of stamps and dies. It was in the Them Bones suite. I'm not going to review it because there's a whole video on this suite, but I wanted to show it to you because, again, we're talking about Halloween tonight. So then there's this bundle here. And this bundle is a punch, and it's called Pick of the Patch. And you've got two different pumpkins, a leaf, and a stem that you're going to be able to cut from this punch. You've got the ability to make a jack-o'-lantern. You've got some little vines, some greeneries. You've got a little raven or a crow. You've got some cute greetings. You've got a harvest of blessings. You're the Pick of the Patch. Happy Halloween. Let me lay that flat. Thanks so much, Cutie Pie. Just a fun font on those, and mixed fonts, which is what I love. I love when they mix the fonts on that. And then we have this one here. This is our Trick or Treats bundle, and this is a stamp set that has some dies. And you've got your Frankenstein and your fun other little monster, kind of a vampire looking guy. You've got your little haunted house, some fun little background elements, a little ghost and tombstones and bats and stars, and then 2 different greetings. We're going to take a closer look at this one in just a second. But for this one here, I just wanted to give you a couple of tips. One of the things that I find most challenging, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I don't usually mince words. I like to be honest and truthful about product that I like, don't like, why I like it, why I don't like it as a crafter. One of the products that I struggle with are what we call our builder punches. And that's a punch that punches out multiple images at one time. Part of the reason why I struggle with that is because I'm kind of a paper saver. I like to get every little inch of a piece of paper used if possible. I don't save scraps that are like this big, but when I'm punching and I'm die cutting, you better believe I can really maximize that piece of paper. And so I struggle with these punches a lot for that reason right there. So, and then sometimes, especially on this one, sometimes maybe you only want like the big pumpkin, you don't want this pumpkin. Let me give you a couple of tips for placement. The first one is going to be actually using your punch in place of a block. Normally we use a block to put our stamps on, whether they're the clear photo polymer mount or the cling mount, and then we stamp. In this case, the punch is going to become our block. And I'm going to put my stamps right here on the punch. I'm going to take my ink pad. And if you have the smaller ink spots, if you're a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin and you have the smaller ink spots, you've purchased the set of ink spots that are in the catalog, you've been slowly collecting them over the years, or you've purchased the uninked ink spots and added our classic ink refills to them, those would be even better for this technique here. Or I'm going to show you one other technique when I do the leaf and the stem. But I'm just going to lightly pat my ink pad right on the stamps. Okay, so that's one way. And again, I mentioned the smaller ink pads. The other way is to use the brush tip of our Stampin' Right markers. And let me just grab my little leaf and my little stem from my pumpkin. And you do want to make sure that you get them lined up just right on the image that's there. And we're going to just use that brush tip and use it on its side. We want to preserve the point of that. You're going to get better coverage anyway by using it on its side versus point down. So I'm just going to color directly on the stamps. I'm not worried about the ink drying out because we all have something called hot air, right? A lot of times there's a lot of jokes about hot air, right? But there's moisture in your breath. And so you're going to just take a deep breath and you're going to go, you're going to exhale on your stamps, and that moisture in your breath is going to re-wet the ink. And now you're going to go ahead and press it down just like you would with an ink pad. And now I have my, oops, I guess I didn't press hard enough. I missed the little stem guy, but you'll get the idea. And now I can open up my punch, slide this in, and you can see that it lines up perfectly with the different images that are there, okay? And the little guy would have been there if I had pressed hard enough on it, and I didn't. So my apologies for that. I'm going to set these aside. So then another tip for you with the punch. Again, sometimes you just want a certain punch, okay? Or maybe you just want this leaf way down in here. So let's use just a little block here. Let's add some color back to this little leaf. We're just going to use the marker because that's what I brought to the table. I'm going to stamp it way down on here. And now I can just slide that down in. Now what happens if your paper is too short out here out the top? Well, you have two choices. One, if you happen to have a Post-it note handy, you can create a little tab, and that gives you something to hold on to, and you can position that punch exactly where you want it to be. So you use that Post-it note holder. The other option is that U-pick tool that you may have seen me use in some of the other videos to pick up loose sequins and other small die cut bits and things like that. That putty is just sticky enough to kind of help you position that image exactly where you want it to be. You just slide it over. And now I can punch. So a couple of different ways to go ahead and get those different images and things out of the punch. So your putty tool, creating a tab with a Post-it note holder, and then I showed you how I actually use the punch itself as a block when I'm working with those builder punches. So hopefully that gives you a few ideas for those. And now let's look at a sample real quick. And I don't want to lose that itty bitty little piece, so I will save those pumpkins because I'm not going to waste them now that I punched them, right? We need them. So let's look at a cute little sample. So I did 4 pumpkins, the little leaves and the stems. This dot paper is from the Rich Regal 6x6 pack of designer papers. It's got 4 sheets of each one of the 10 colors that are in that color family, and some great patterns and things in the solid. So that gave a fun, nice little polka dot. You're the pick of the patch. And what's fun is when you can mix and match your dies. This little bit of grass was actually from the Bones dies, and it's right here. So you've got that little bit of grass, and I used that element to cut this bottom right here. So that's our first sample, and that is the Pick of the Patch bundle that is in the 2023 Holiday Mini Catalog. So let's move that up off camera view, and let's bring this one in, and let's talk about the elements and the pieces that are part of this one. So again, I mentioned that you've got your monsters, your haunted house, and all of that. The monsters are what we call two-step or multi-step stamping. You would stamp the face, the head first, and then you stamp the head on top of the face. Here you've got the hairline is separate and the face is separate. So there's 3 stamps, and you would use that to piece this monster together. Okay, so multi-step stamping. You also then have the dies. Let me pull this on camera view for you. You're going to be able to cut that monster head. You're going to be able to cut this monster head. And you're going to be able to cut your little haunted house with your larger dies. But then you have a whole bunch of other fun dies. This one here is just a really fun label. You can fit it around the trick or treat. You have 2 tags, and you know, if you're going to be making Halloween treats, a lot of times you're making multiple, so it's nice to be able to cut 2 tags at once. You are going to be able to make the sweetest, cutest little treat box using this die here. You'll need to cut 2 pieces, and we'll put one together in a minute. Here you get to build a piece of candy corn. You have the word boo. This here can be used to create a zigzag line on any card or anything like that, even a zigzag border that you could use, but you can also use it on the top of your box. And then we have our sweet little ghost. So let's start first with the first tip. Let's start first with the candy corn. And I will tell you, for some reason, I just couldn't make the candy corn work. I had to do a shout out to a Facebook group that I'm part of. And thankfully, a fellow demonstrator, Twyla, saved me from myself, because for some reason I kept trying to make the base white, which then meant that I had a white tip, because these I had a white tip, and then, whatever. I didn't have traditional candy corn. Traditional candy corn is white, orange, and yellow. So you want to start with an orange base. You're going to die cut the white tip and then the yellow bottom, and that will give you your fun candy corn. And let me show you a cute little sample with our fun candy corn. I mixed it with some greetings from our, I believe it's called So Cool. It's the stamp set that has the pretzel and the soda and things like that. So You're So Sweet. Background paper, Them Bones. And then 5 candy corns. They're all covered with Wink of Stella, so they're sugary and sweet. And then some of our matte dots on there. So just a fun little card. This is one that I would definitely send. I don't necessarily send Halloween cards, but during the month of Halloween, I would send this card, or I would also use this as a card for October birthdays. So then, looking at some other tips for you. So we have these 2 dies right here. And I was like, those are kind of different. What are they? Well, what they are is they are going to give you holes at the top of your boxes so that you can then tie ribbon, tie twine, even use cardstock to then create a handle so that you've got a little bag that has a handle. And you have 2 different size holes. You have this size hole, and then you have a much larger hole. And you definitely want it on both pieces, because again, you know, you want your handles, you know, it might hang this way, but you want 2 so that you can pick it up like a little bag. Also here, I used the stitched end so that you can see, or not the stitched end, the zigzag end, so that you can see what that looks like. So let's put one of these boxes together. When I'm working with anything that is going to hold some weight, anything that is going to get a lot of use, as far as movement or things like that, I like to use either like Seal Plus, or I like to use my tear and tape. They're a strong tape and they hold really, really well. Some of you may know tear and tape as red line tape. Now this is already scored, but I like to go over it and really just crease my score lines down real good with my bone folder. So anytime I have a die that does create creases, I still go over them all with that bone folder. I just find that it puts it all together that much nicer. Also makes them stand out more so that I know exactly where to put my adhesive on the project. I love too that it's even notched just a little bit for you. I mean, all the work is done. You just got to run it through the machine, stick some adhesive on it, and then make it look cute. And some of you saw this box already put together, but without the handles and the pieces, and without me demonstrating how to put it together in that video on Them Bones. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I always like to make sure I'm gonna layer these right. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this one over and put the adhesive all the way at the edge, and then I'm gonna put a little piece just next to it. And how much adhesive you use or don't use, again, it's going to be up to you and your experience. I tend to like a lot of adhesive. I want it to be sturdy and hold together very well. I'm going to just lay this. So I've got the first side of the box, and now this side is going to go over here. Real easy, guys. Very kind of almost instinctive. Much easier than trying to figure out how to put that dang candy corn together. I'm going to be very honest with you. That, I don't know why. That just got me tonight. So, and I always like to, then I'll go over it with my bone folder, just flattening it like that. And that just kind of really embeds the adhesive and the fibers of the cardstock together. I'm going to open it up. And I'm going to fold the two flaps down. We'll have one flap that goes over. So whichever the flap is the one that's going over is the one that you'll want your adhesive on. And if you have trouble getting the backing off, the paper piercing point on your U-pick tool is perfect for that. The point of your scissors is good. And then, again, just put my bone folder down inside and kind of rub those edges together. And now you've got a really nice box. And I didn't measure, but let's see here for a second together. The box is going to be, I will call it 4 inches. It's just a hair past a 16th, like 4 1/16, but let's call it 4 inches by 3 inches. So this box here, I cut this one down a little bit, remember, but 4 inches by 3 inches, and then you've got a side width of 1 inch. So 4 inches, 3 inches, and then 1 inch wide. So real fun boxes, guys. You're gonna love playing with those. So let's take a look at a couple of samples that we have here. Let me move these so I don't forget where I have them at. Don't want to lose any of the pieces. So the very first thing we have is we have a little banner. Again, I mentioned I don't necessarily send Halloween cards, but I do like to decorate and put a few little things out. I don't decorate my whole house, but a lot of times I'll do my powder bath, and then I usually I have a little like breakfast bar, and then my kitchen table, I'll usually put something in the center of the table, just something festive for the season and things like that. And so this is designer paper from Them Bones. Using the holographic paper, I just think it's really cool for Halloween and to back. You can see our little monsters. We've got the haunted house with the ghost. And then this right here is a tag from the Merriest Trees dies that you'll see me demonstrate to you later in the week. And I just tied the tags onto a piece of twine, and I can spread them out as far as I want them to go. And then again, talking about home decor, this is a mini garden flag. It's not very tall at all. It's all of about 12 inches, maybe 14 inches. I've had this 15 years or more. Just put mini garden flag stand into Google and see what comes up for you as far as options and things like that. But what I did here is this is a canvas, a little square canvas from the local craft store, and I just stuck that down inside. And a lot of times I'll put some type of little tissue around it, or if I've done something in the fall, I've stuck it in like a mini hay bale. I've actually stuck it in floral arrangements and things. But here, using paper again from Them Bones. Now, this one's actually going to go in my powder bath. And what's fun is these two ghosts right here are cut from the glow-in-the-dark paper. So there'll be an eerie green glow from the ghost. And then if you look at them, I'm going to pull it up close again, the holographic paper for the boo. And then if you look at their eyes, there's a little bit of silver. So that, again, they just kind of stand out just a little bit more. So there's a little fun for you. And then if you're invited to any party this season, how about a little tongue-in-cheek Halloween booze? So we've got the nested essentials, and what I did was I actually cut two. One, let me take this off here for a second. So the first one with a circle punch, and then the second one's layered, and the seam is kind of hid behind this ghost, the boo, and then the ZE for the booze is from our alphabet die. So just something a little fun, a little tongue-in-cheek. And if it's a Halloween party, may I recommend red wine? We're gonna have a little bit of fun with that. So again, just some fun things. And I know that, again, treat boxes and things, decorating for treats is a lot of fun. But again, you can then also create some great cards for those that have October birthdays, October events that you want to be thinking about them with. So if you do not have a demonstrator in the US, need a copy of that 2023 holiday mini catalog, make sure you message me your email and address, and I will put you on the list. My catalog should be here the 1st of next week, and I can start shipping them out sometime next week. And make sure that you're on my newsletter. I have a big newsletter going out tomorrow. My newsletter is free. It's available to the public, to demonstrators, to everybody globally as well as in the US. There'll be 20 free tutorials in there, as well as news of my paper shares and other things that I'm doing and offering right now. So to subscribe to my newsletter, if you're not on it, again, just message me your email. And I will be back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Time, and we'll look at some of the fun, beautiful fall products that are in that 2023 holiday catalog. Have an amazing night, guys, and a great day tomorrow, and we'll join together at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Thanks.